These stories are wild. So just this week, it was announced that the lumber company Boise Cascade would plead guilty to felony violations of the Lacey Act, which is a law that governs the import of agricultural products, including lumber. Essentially what they did was that they purchased lumber from a supplier that they knew had obfuscated the origin of their imports before. Basically, this company that they bought their lumber from imported lumber from China and then unloaded and reloaded that lumber in Malaysia on its way to the US to make it look like that lumber didn't actually come from China. Boise Cascade bought about $30 million worth of the lumber over a period of about 3 years. As punishment, they're going to be paying a nearly $6.4 million fine, which was equal to about twice the profit that they made from the whole scheme. Now, it's interesting to note that they weren't the ones who purchased the lumber from China themselves. They were going through a supplier, but ultimately they were charged. And the reason for that is because the requirement in the law is that they knew or should have known. And because they'd worked with these suppliers before and they knew that they had done things like this before, when those suppliers actually, did these things, they're now being held accountable, because that's what you get when you work with suppliers that aren't reputable. You really put yourself at risk, and that's what happened here. But to me, this is an interesting story because it illustrates a few different things. First is that lumber markets are international, and lumber in the US comes from all over the world, including places like China, Vietnam, Brazil, New Zealand, Norway, Sweden, places like that. And second, it's interesting because it shows that lumber tariffs are significant enough that people will go to extreme measures to get around them, and that the US government will investigate and prosecute people and companies that also try to get around them.
Your butt just violated the Holly Smoot Tariff Act.
Now, the big question that I have is, and feel free to comment below with your own thoughts, but the big question I have is whether or not this is the only instance of a lumber company trying to get around tariffs like this. My guess is they're not the only ones. I'm sure that there are others out there, and I wouldn't be surprised to hear of more headlines like this in the future, but they're probably the only ones who've gotten caught so far. And what's that they say? It's only illegal if you get caught.
It's illegal.
Oh no. Guys, Michael says this is illegal. I hadn't thought of that. That was sarcasm. I had thought of that.
Now, this is not the first time that I've talked about the Lacey Act before. In fact, I made a video last year talking about a company called Lumber Liquidators. Now, I don't know if you remember those guys or not, but they got in trouble about 10 years ago because they bought lumber from a Chinese company that sourced lumber from a forest that was supposed to be protected because it was home to the last 500 critically endangered wild Siberian tigers. At the time, they had to pay a fee of over $13 million. But fines like this can go a long way in setting an example and making it too expensive for companies to risk breaking the law. But there is another reason why I'm bringing up Lumber Liquidators. In my video last year, I explained how Lumber Liquidators was filing for bankruptcy and how they were eventually saved by their original founder who invested in the company to keep it from going under. Well, they're in the news again, and this time it's because they're being sold again. Now stick with me here because this is where the story gets wild. So Lumber Liquidators declared bankruptcy in late 2024, and at the time they were branded LL Flooring, but it's the same company. But the guy who bought LL Flooring out of bankruptcy was the same guy who founded Lumber Liquidators in 1994 and sold all of his shares by 2019, which was just in time to make out like a bandit before the pandemic hit. Well, he used that money that he got from selling Lumber Liquidators to start a company called Cabinets to Go. And now both Lumber Liquidators and Cabinets to Go are being bought up by Bed Bath & Beyond. Now at this point you may be saying, hey Dave, I thought that Bed Bath & Beyond went bankrupt after their CFO jumped out of a window. Well, you're right. They declared bankruptcy in 2023, but they were bought out by none other than Overstock.com, who closed all of their physical stores and rebranded themselves as Bed Bath & Beyond, but strictly as an online retailer. So that was a lot, I know. So feel free to rewind and go back and listen to it all again if you didn't catch it all. But here's the gist. Lumber Liquidators and Cabinets to Go are selling to Bed Bath & Beyond, who used to be Overstock.com. Now the deal is worth $150 million total, and it gives Bed Bath & Beyond an extended portfolio of home improvement offerings. In the deal, they said that the acquisition aims to create beyond home services, expanding the retailer's everything home ecosystem into flooring, cabinets, and renovation. The other interesting thing about this is that Bed Bath & Beyond also recently bought the Container Store. Now it looks like they'll still continue with the brick and mortar stores and are not going completely online with these companies, but both Lumber Liquidators and the Container Store reduced their physical footprint when they went through their own individual bankruptcies, and so they're pretty lean at the moment. Now here's what fascinates me about this whole deal. Bed Bath & Beyond seems to be building a home improvement portfolio that could eventually rival stores like the Home Depot and Lowe's. Now they are very different companies in many ways, especially because of the online nature of things, but I wonder what you guys think. Do you think that Bed Bath & Beyond, through all of these acquisitions, could eventually take on a company like Home Depot and cut into their market share for things like, flooring and cabinets and home improvement? Leave me a comment and let me know your thoughts. Either way, it will be really interesting to see how this shakes out and whether it pays off, and I'll be looking into that, watching it, and let you know what I find out. Now that brings me to another recent news story and another follow-up to a video that I made last year, and that is that Walmart is discontinuing one of their major tool brands. And so there's probably going to be some pretty good opportunities to get some pretty good deals there. But before we get into that, I want to tell you about this video's sponsor, the new autonomous lawnmower from Mammotion. The world is changing, and we live at a time of unprecedented convenience. And each new day brings some sort of new innovation that can help us save more time and make our lives better. And this new Luba 3 AWD automatic mower is no exception. The good folks at Mammotion were kind enough to send me this model, and I just have to tell you everything that I love about it. First of all, the lawnmower is super easy to assemble. The instructions are intuitive, and there's only a few pieces that need to be put together. Also, a lot of robotic mowers require an RTK antenna to be installed, but this Luba mower doesn't need that at all. It connects over 4G and Wi-Fi, and the net RTK is free for the mower's lifetime. Once it's charged, it's ready to start mapping out my lawn, and the app makes it easy to block off any hazards or other areas that I want the mower to avoid. Now this mower is much better than any old regular push or gas mower. Beyond the obvious fact that it's a robot doing all the work for you, it also uses only a small amount of electricity versus very expensive gas. You can also cut your lawn much more frequently and set up schedules to keep your lawn the exact length you want it to be all the time. Plus it mulches, which helps support a much healthier lawn. It can also handle slopes and wet grass without any issues, and it's super quiet, which means that you can even run it at night. The sensors are built to handle it, and it has lights so that you can see where it is at all times. And again, it's super quiet. Another critical thing that this mower has is obstacle avoidance, and that means that it'll stop if things get in the way, so you don't need to worry about the dogs or the kids as the mower is working. It even works at night. So if you're ready to ditch all of the work of mowing your own lawn and join the future, take a look at Mammotion's new Luba 3 AWD autonomous lawnmower. I'll leave a link in the description, so be sure to check them out. You'll be glad that you did. Now let's get back to it. Okay, so I did a video a while back talking about the tools that are sold at Walmart. They have two main tool brands. One is called Hart and the other is called Hyper-Tough. Both of these brands are meant to be more affordable, but of the two, Hart is considered the higher end brand. Now, Hart is owned by a company called TTI, which is the same company that owns both Milwaukee Tools and Ryobi Tools. Hyper Tools are manufactured by a company called Ningbo Daiei, or Daiei America. They manufacture Hyper-Tough tools exclusively for Walmart as kind of a private label company. So here is the news. Walmart is discontinuing its relationship with Hart Tools, and that means that they will no longer sell them. Now, if you go into a Walmart right now, and I did recently, you're gonna see a whole shelf full of Hart tools for sale. And that's because they're gonna continue to sell out the rest of their inventory until it's gone. But because they haven't produced any tools since late last year, their inventory is only going to get smaller and smaller over time. And that means that there are going to be some pretty good tool deals here in the future. In fact, the last time that I was there, I did pick up a few things, a couple drill bits that were on sale. There were still a lot of Hart tools though that were full price, but it won't stay like that forever. As soon as Walmart has another product that is gonna fill those shelves, you're gonna see a lot of those tools go on sale and probably deeply discounted, deeply clearanced. So each time you go into a Walmart, just wander down the tool aisle and see if there are any deals on Hart tools to be had. Now here's the big question though, why? Why is Walmart getting rid of Hart tools? Now there's very little information on the whys. In fact, all of the press releases simply say that TTI is going to discontinue the brand. So reading between the lines, I'm assuming that it just wasn't profitable. Walmart is notorious for squeezing their suppliers, and so I'm guessing that TTI just was simply not making enough money for it to be worth it. Walmart plans to replace the Hart tools with more tools from HyperTough, as well as tools from Skill, which they already have a few in there, but they'll add more, and Greenworks. So they'll have tools, but Hart tools is going to be out. Now, I want to get your thoughts on all of that. Do you like Hart tools? Do you use them? Are you going to miss them? Leave me a comment and let me know. Now, I also want to know your thoughts on the format of this video. This is the first time I've made a video like this with a bunch of different news stories. In the past, I would make a video about each of these items individually, but none of them seemed quite significant enough for their own video. So I'm doing this format where I'm kind of bunching them together. So let me know your thoughts. Did you like it? Do you want to see more videos like this? Let me know. Again, thanks for watching. Leave me a comment, drop a like, and share it with somebody who may find it interesting. And I'll see you in the next one.